So if you've been following along with the Freedom Challenge, you have addressed your mindset and you've developed some clarity around what it is that you desire. Today we're going to talk about the next step in the process, which is developing a manifestation strategy. Hello, everyone. I'm Tammara-Nicole Gardner. I'm the author and creator of the 12 Guiding Stars system. I'm a little bit sick today, but that does not stop the manifestation train. If you've been joining me for the Freedom Challenge, welcome to the next video in the series. If you've missed the videos that came previous to this, I will link the playlist above and below so that you can get caught up. Throughout this series, we are working on manifesting your personal definition of freedom within one major area of your life. I want you to experience manifestation with a real world example in your life throughout the time that we spend together doing this challenge. In this video, we're talking about developing a manifestation strategy. This is super duper important. So whether you're new to manifestation or you've been around in the manifestation world for a while, you have probably heard some of the concepts that say things like, don't mess with the how, don't mess with the middle, take no action, these types of concepts. These are generally concepts touted by those who follow the teachings of Neville Goddard. And while I do think that these concepts have some value and some place in your manifestation practice, they generally tend to suggest that you don't need to do anything other than simply visualize having what it is that you desire, and it will manifest into your life. It is possible for that to happen. I have experienced that, but I have only experienced that with items that I have very limited to no resistance to. And what do I mean by that? Resistance comes up when you have a lot of subconscious programming around an experience. So if you go back to my first video in this series on mindset, I talked about how the nervous system is wired to keep you safe. And if your nervous system identifies an experience as either something you've encountered in the past that it determined was unsafe, or something it's never encountered before, it will default to, I don't know about this. I don't know if it's a threat. I'm going to take some caution around this because I don't know what it is. So even though in your conscious mind, you say to yourself, I want that thing, your subconscious, which is 95% of your thought process, is pushing against what it is that you consciously indicate that you desire. And that's where resistance comes up. So if you have limited to no resistance to something, you can probably manifest it with relative ease and speed. For example, one morning I decided I wanted to get back to the basics of manifesting. And I was just thinking about, very common manifestation just tests that people do, which is manifesting a free cup of coffee. And I thought about it very fleetingly. And as I was getting ready for breakfast, I realized I didn't really have anything in the house to throw together for breakfast. So I decided to run out of the house for breakfast to a local cafe that's just a few minutes down the road from my house. And it just so happened that they were giving away free cups of coffee that day. So I manifested that free cup of coffee within about 15 minutes of thinking about it and thinking about it very lightly, very fleetingly. And there it was, because I have no resistance to the free cup of coffee, right? Like I have no programming around the coffee. But most of the time we're trying to manifest things that really matter in our life. Like it's kind of cool, it's kind of novel to manifest the free coffee. But what we really want to manifest is a career that fulfills us, a meaningful relationship with somebody. We're really trying to manifest the bigger, significant things in our lives. And I want to emphasize that to the universe. They're not bigger than the cup of coffee. They feel bigger and more significant to us because of that resistance, because we have so much programming around the thing. And because we have so much programming around the thing, it takes a little more time and effort to manifest the thing. Because what we're really doing is working on rewiring the subconscious the whole time that we're trying to manifest that thing. And because that subconscious programming is so thoroughly ingrained in us, it takes effort and it takes time. So that's what's going on. So as you move through this process, you're going to want to make sure that you have a plan in place to ensure that you're being consistent, that you're being held accountable towards achieving your goals, and that you have some type of strategy that is actually aligned with where you want to go. You don't want to just be throwing whatever at the wall and seeing what sticks. You want to have a manifestation practice that actually supports you in moving towards what it is that you desire. Now, my 12 Guiding Stars system has all of that baked in. We're not going to get into the complete system here. This is just meant to serve as an introduction to the 12 Guiding Stars system. So we're just going to simplify it a little bit and use what I call developing an alter ego as your strategy. So what I want you to do for this week's homework is pick somebody as inspiration, either somebody you know, or it can be somebody who's achieved a certain level of notoriety in a field, somebody who has something similar to what it is that you desire. And I want you to observe that person. Specifically, what kinds of attitudes do they have? What kinds of habits have they adopted? What types of people do they hang around? What is it about them that has allowed them to achieve success around the object of your desire? And I just want you to make a list of all of those attributes. If there's not an appropriate person to look to for inspiration in your life, then you can just think in general about what types of qualities would this person need to have in order to achieve success around the thing that it is that you're trying to manifest. And write down all of those attributes and have them on standby for next week when we get into an embodiment practice, when we start adopting some of those attitudes, behaviors, and belief systems for ourselves. This, I find, is the fastest, easiest way to manifest whatever it is that you desire. So just to recap, you are going to have some type of plan and strategy in place in order to manifest what it is that you want. You don't want to just kind of be going about this haphazardly. It's kind of like going grocery shopping without a shopping list, right? What happens? You spend a bunch of time in the grocery store throwing things in the cart, and then you get home and you're still not sure what to make for dinner. It definitely is more efficient to pause and take a moment and have a plan in place before you get to the grocery store. And that's going to make your whole week run better, right? When you have an actual meal plan and you're only spending money on what you actually need in order to make the meals for the week. Similar concept, right? We want to have an idea of what types of beliefs, attitudes, behaviors we need to adopt to become the type of person who has the thing that we want. And then we can develop a strategy that makes sense for us. So take some time this week, pick a mentor, pick somebody as inspiration, observe them, maybe do a little bit of research into what it is that you want and see what is necessary, what types of attitudes and habits and belief systems are necessary in order to become that person. Have that list on standby for next week. Until then, keep shooting for the stars.